Hey, it says we're live.
I guess we're live. Hello, Internet.
Hey,
how are
Internet.
you? Welcome aboard, Jeff Porter from
Hello.
Science Spheres. How's it going, Jeff?
Good.
What did
Sphere
you
of
just
science?
call it? The Science Sphere?
Science Spheres?
Did I? Oh, sorry. That's your Twitter handle is Science
Science
Spheres.
Spheres is the Twitter handle, yeah.
The best part about this is literally 30 seconds ago, I was like,
Just
is it Fear of
clarify.
Science, right?
Yeah, you did.
Because I kept thinking Science Spheres. But that's...
You've been on the show, and Derek's been on it twice.
Twice.
Derek's
And
been
now
on
you-
more than me?
And now
Yeah.
you've been on... I'm just a more interesting person than you are, I guess.
I mean...
And now you've been
I
on
try to argue that.
You've been on our show twice, right? This is
This is my second time on it, yeah.
Well, welcome
Jeff was-
back. Longtime friend of the pod, Jeff Porter.
Jeff was actually our first video podcast guest when we switched to video.
Because he was just extra handsome. And we knew we had to make the leap to video if we were having Jeff Porter on.
Yeah.
We had to get all the ladies involved.
Yeah, you can't have a guy this sexy on and not have video.
That's true.
Exactly.
It is true.
Right.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah. It's a
Cool.
beautiful, cold 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Like,
on Saturday.
are we in the same fucking city? Because I'm like, oh, not beautiful. I mean, it's classic Vancouver, just like gray and shitty.
Yeah, and cold today.
Was it cold? I guess I would for a walk, but there was like a slight hill, so I got really hot really fast.
Ladies, Dale can walk up a slight incline.
Yeah, and then I start to sweat immediately. What's
Getting
up?
that cardio in.
You know it.
Jeff,
So,
for our new, or maybe for people who missed your intro on the last one, do you want to give us a brief rundown on you and your podcast?
Sure, yeah. So I do a podcast called The Fear of Science, where we take science topics and we make it easier for the general public to digest in a fun and playful way. We have a lot of different scientists on. We cover a lot of variety of subjects, from social sciences to just weird stuff sometimes. Yeah, so we've been doing that almost 3 years now. Me and my friend Daniel Chai. And yeah, besides that, I also work at Science World. I'm the digital designer there. And I do a lot of miniature painting, a lot of geeky crap. Yeah.
Who did I see? And Dale, maybe this, I saw someone on my Instagram is getting big into miniatures lately. Oh, Jeff, you've also done some fucking bonkers like cosplay costumes and shit.
Oh yeah,
back when like conferences were a thing that people went to.
Yeah, I'm well known for my Sweetums.
Yeah,
I did a very large Sweetums costume.
if anybody doesn't know who that was, because I didn't, it is the big brown monster from the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Don't feel ashamed. I didn't know either.
Yeah. I'll link it in the comments.
Yeah,
here.
the person who was super into miniatures on your Instagram was probably Jeff.
Probably me.
Yeah, because yours, they're actually looking really good. Like, I love when like older artists, I don't know why I said older, but like
Christ almighty, Dale, he's right there.
That's what you get for not having me again on your podcast. I'm just fucking passive aggressively.
Just shit on you for the next hour.
But I love it's like seniors get into miniature painting.
But
with their little shrunken hands trying to like paint intricate details.
They have the attention span to go slow. But you recently did a frost giant, and the amount of detail in that was amazing. So I just it
was a fun one.
Give you props. Also, one other one that you did that I liked was you made a pop can into like a gas tank, which is cool. Mostly
I remember that. Yeah, that was the one I think I saw.
Just a regular pop can, and then you like showed the steps, and it looked like it took a lot of effort, and it looked really good at the end.
I also took my our heat detector in our apartment building broke. So they replaced it and gave me the old one. Normal people would throw that out and think it's garbage.
Yeah,
I turned it into a turret.
Nice.
Why did you ask for it, or were they like, Jeff will make something?
Yeah, we'll just give it to Jeff.
Yeah, so they gave it to me and they literally said, throw this in the garbage. And I was like, sure.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
took it
not
into the
going to do
studio.
that. We'll give it
Jeff-
to old man Jeff. Let's
Jeff
see
is
what
like-
he can turn this shit into.
The best hoarder because he hoards everything, but he turns everything into awesome little miniature figurines.
Oh
Do
man,
you-
I'm totally
Yeah.
gonna end up being like the weirdest hoarder when I'm older. Like when I am a senior, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have like just weird stuff where I'm like, that could be the shape of a spaceship one day.
Nice.
If you're hoarding miniatures, though, you can hoard so much more shit than you could if you were hoarding full-size things.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
if you're hoarding spaceships, you can only have one, probably, unless you have like a hangar. But if you're hoarding
Yeah.
miniature spaceships, the options are endless.
Mhm.
That's a good
Unless
point.
it's a really big miniature spaceship.
Thank you for enabling my.
I'm here for you, man.
Hey, tell Jen to send the thank yous our way because we're the ones who said it's okay. I wanted to ask you though. Sorry, Darren.
Wow, no, it sounded like you were going to segue into something, and I was also going to segue into something. So
I
I'll
was-
let you segue into something.
This is
Segue
more
off.
about the miniatures before we move on.
Oh,
Because-
yeah, that's good.
Jeff,
And then I'll.
Yeah, Jeff does like you turn like other like characters and like the heat detector and stuff into Warhammer figurines. Have you heard anything back from like purists who are like mad that you're turning other stuff in and they
Oh
only
no,
want-
not at all.
Okay.
The Warhammer community is all about kit bashing and taking and especially making like terrain out of different things. Like, yeah, I think that's why Warhammer appeals to so many kind of creative miniature enthusiasts, is that they really want you to take it and make your own creativity out of it, not just assemble and paint the models they have.
Nice. I love how tough the term kit bashing sounds when
know.
you're just making like little nerdy miniatures.
Kit bash that.
Yeah.
So that's miniatures. I wanted to talk about bigatures. And
Hey-o!
go out of left field. I didn't put this on the agenda, but something dominating the fucking news cycle right now is this boat that got its big ass stuck in the Suez Canal.
Oh, did you see
Yeah.
the little aside? Because I put it on the subject list, but for a specific reason.
No, but I would love to.
Something that happened right before he got jammed in the canal.
We discovered that the boat is racist, and it can no longer carry good. No,
No, the boat has not been milkshake ducked yet. We'll talk about milkshake ducking later on in the episode. There's a little spoiler for the current episode you're listening to, so you keep listening if that's something you're interested in. No, what happened was they were following the geo signature of the boat, and he drew a big penis in the ocean before he went into the Suez Canal, which to me is hilarious, because if he didn't get his boat jammed right into the Suez Canal, ruining global trade, no one would have known. But now that he did, and pretty much everybody has to take an extra 9 days on their trip and go around the Horn of Africa. Does it sound like I know what I'm talking about now?
It
Yeah,
does.
And all these
You researched something.
You
global
researched
yeah.
something. He also researched dicks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as soon as drawing a dick is involved, then I'll research something.
Yeah, it was a dark rabbit hole after that.
Dale, I'm gonna shatter your little dick drawing dreams. I was reading a thread on Reddit this morning, and apparently they're like, there's no fucking way, like the amount of work it would take for a giant cargo ship like that to draw. It just like randomly worked out that they were drifting rather than dropping anchor, and it just worked out that they drew a dick before they entered. And this is like by the hand of God himself. This ship drew a dick before entering the Suez Canal and promptly running aground.
So what you're saying is that God drew that dick.
Yeah. I mean, God drew all dicks, really, when you think about it.
That's true.
I was gonna say, you think that telling me that would ruin my enthusiasm for the dick that was drawn, but that just makes it better because it's like now it's like Nazca lines level like dick drawing because it was like nobody knows why or how it happened. It's just something that happened.
Like this is now proof of a technologically advanced species that can use our boats to draw dicks from space.
That's what happens. An alien like beam me up. What are they called? The beams, the tractor beams.
Tractor beams.
Yeah, let's grab the ship and just fucking with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
and
it's
that's
like futuristic, like way advanced species use the currents and like the way lines of the earth to draw penises.
That makes sense.
That's
to
like
me.
nobody knows like why this fucking like what is it like 100 boats a day pass through this canal, which on paper looks much smaller than you would expect a canal that like 15% of global trade passes through every day to look. And looking at the pictures, it's also like, oh, it's just like it's basically like a trench full of water. It's not like, I remember learning about like, what was the one we had in Canada where they have like the different locks that will like a boat comes in and then it fills up with water to take you to the next level. And then
like a levee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is like literally you look at pictures and it's like, oh, it's a fucking like there aren't even walls built along the side. It's just like it looks like a fucking ditch. A huge ditch.
I think one of the reasons it looks smaller than it is because I just looked up some numbers, so I don't actually know this offhand. I just do the research on the dicks beforehand. Now I'm doing the size of the actual canal. It is actually 200 meters wide, so that's like 600 feet wide. It's just this Ever Given ship is fucking 400 meters long.
It's one of the largest shipping boats in the world.
That's just what the captain told you.
It doesn't look as big now that it's sideways.
Now that's not. Yeah, exactly.
Like
been there.
It's 59 meters wide, which is 200 feet. So this boat is nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, so I think 200 meters wide makes the Suez Canal actually pretty wide. And maybe
it's definitely wider than 200 meters now.
Yeah, it had an unscheduled widening, which again we've all been privy to at some point in our lives, I'm sure.
They just need to get that picture that they keep showing, that they keep making into memes of that piece of equipment, the digger. I don't know what, like
backhoe.
There you go. I knew Dale would have it.
Right,
they have
excavator.
that backhoe digging the in the canal there. They just need to take that backhoe and just start digging a new canal. Like,
exactly. And that's the fact. Like, if you've been on the internet or have been off of the internet for the past week and you haven't seen this, like the scale of this ship compared to everything around it, but you see like an excavator, which, in relation to me looks fucking pretty big, I would think.
Yeah,
You'd probably fit a couple people on those things. And then like it's this tiny little excavator up against the hull of this ship, and it's just a monster. And you're like, this thing, like they're never getting out. It's time to just like dig a new canal. Like the thing's been stuck there for what, 4 days?
They say months maybe.
And it's really fucking cool, actually. You can go on. I'm learning lots of stuff about shipping. So thanks to all the meme lords out there who made this shit interesting. You can actually go on. There's a website called, I think it's vesseltracker.com. And you can literally see every boat in the world, including pleasure craft, like any registered boat, where they are in the world at any given time. And you zoom in on the Suez Canal and you see this big fucking boat. And then at both ends of the canal, you can just see like hundreds of ships backing up, waiting for this fucking thing to clear. So if you've ordered anything off of, Alibaba or a Chinese e-commerce site, it might be a little while before you get it. Dale, I know that's a particular interest to you because you like to order
knockoff jerseys. You
your
can say
knockoff
it.
jerseys. Yeah.
I don't think the police are coming. Well, the last knockoff jersey I ordered from China, I ordered January of last year, and that was right before COVID hit. And then COVID hit, so it took like 5 months for me to get it anyway. But yeah. So I guess
that's always nice.
What Derek was saying, the reason
it like shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a surprise.
Yeah, or you're like, you've completely forgotten that you ordered it. You're like, holy fuck, like, a gift to myself.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit. And it was nice because the hockey season ended or whatever, and then I got it before this season, so that was good.
Worked out.
Yeah. You know what I learned about cargo ships because of all this? That cargo ships aren't made to be able to reverse.
Oh, crazy.
So all of these cargo ships that got stuck because of that big ass one, they've had to take tugboats and pull the cargo ships back to dock to be able to unload or go the other way around or whatever, because they're not meant to go backwards. So they have nothing built to go backwards.
Do you think that was just like some stupid group bonding exercise when they're like, we're gonna build our ships so they don't go backwards, so we only go forward? That's the way this company wants to run.
That's our motto. Never go backwards, always go forward. And there's some engineer that's just like, no, but we should probably make the ships go backwards as well.
Shut the fuck up, idiot. That's loser talk.
Yeah, guys, can't we just put a little R on there? No, we've already made the R for radio, guy. We can't put a reverse in there.
I said we don't go backwards.
We're locked in. So anyways, who the fuck knows how this is going to play? It's actually been kind of riveting to watch. And like we've all said, we've learned things about cargo ships. And it makes you think just the sheer volume of shit that gets moved around this planet on a daily basis, and how much of that is by boat and how much of that is by really big boat, and how many of those boats flow through Suez Canal. And I'm also like, well, maybe this is a big fucking, if that thing's just jammed up forever and this boat never moves again, Vancouver, which is a port city on the west coast of North America, will probably stand to benefit pretty significantly if a lot of those boats just start fucking coming across the Pacific instead of around Africa's Horn.
Yeah, because they could land in Vancouver and then put everything on train and go to the East Coast and then go across.
Or what the fuck ever else you want to do with it.
Do you want to know something I learned from this whole Suez Canal thing? Sorry, Jeff, were you going to say something before
I was just going to say, I don't want to be that guy who is the conspiracy theorist in the group, but...
Well, Dale's normally that guy, so it's weird. Now we have two, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, do you wonder if maybe this was all pre-manufactured by Big Boat in order to get people thinking about cargo ships more than they currently do?
Do you want to hear another conspiracy I heard about this?
I sure do.
I heard the company Evergreen, the ship is run by the company Evergreen, and the ship's actual name is Ever Given. So that's just something that got me confused at first. But what I heard, Evergreen, which is a Taiwanese company, is secretly run by the CIA, and they did this on purpose to stop all the traffic from China so that they could dampen their economy. And if you look in China, it's a coincidence. So I'm not saying this is a conspiracy theory, but there was that other meme that came up of an Evergreen semi truck that just got lodged sideways on a highway in Nanping. So it was they're there's an Evergreen ship and an Evergreen truck. And then someone in the comments was that's because Evergreen's run by the CIA. And I was like, oh.
Wait, is this a real conspiracy theory that's floating around right now?
It's a comments conspiracy theory, so I'd say
that's the best kind.
It's the cherry blossom of a conspirary theory at this point.
Just start.
So we're in on the ground floor of this one.
Yeah, you can get in. Buy your stocks now.
In 4 months, everyone should expect their grandparents to be posting memes about Evergreen ships on Facebook, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the next Q drop will be about Evergreen.
Hey, whatever happened to that guy? You gotta shut the fuck up, eh?
there's an HBO documentary about it, so I'm pretty sure it's done.
Wow. Is it still is it still going around? Is Q still dropping?
I'm not going on HN to find out.
Probably for the best.
Just before we leave the Suez Canal talk, hot content. I just wanted to say something I learned from this also was about stocks. Someone, because, you know, now that I'm in stocks, since it became a meme subject territory, I was like, memes are about stocks. I could do stocks. But they were saying now's a really good time to buy. I love the best thing too is whenever you read something about stocks, they're like, this is not a tip. This is just a comment on what's happening. Like everybody's scared they're going to get sued or something if somebody buys something. But what they're saying was with the Suez Canal blocked, the boats will now have to go down around the Horn of Africa and back up to get into the Mediterranean Sea. Like, so what happened last time this happened in 1967 was in South Africa, the ports there, like their economy was supercharged because boats would go there and they would like dock and they would sell all their stuff at a discount because they wanted to turn around and go back. Like if there's any like non-preservatives and stuff that could go bad. So what they're saying in the economy chats is to buy stocks that are based in South Africa right now because maybe it'll boom if they don't get the ship unclogged.
Oh,
smart. I'd also like to add that Dale is not a financial advisor and any advice he gives is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. Oh shit, I just bought a whole bunch of
that
South
we don't
Africa
get sued.
stock.
Yeah, you know, you probably shouldn't invest in stocks because I got the app where it's just like, it's so easy. Like me and Derek were talking about how it's like fantasy hockey now. And I was like, I'm going to buy stocks. And my girlfriend's like, you didn't put real money in there. And it's like, the person who's lived with me for 5 years is worried about me doing stocks. I'm probably not the best person to listen to with stocks.
Yeah.
Also, if your listeners are coming to Outrage Factory for stock advice, I think
that's
an issue as well.
We should direct them to Stock Factory.
Stock Factory. Dale and I's new podcast where we discuss stocks that we've lost money on because I'm the fucking like I invested. It's like stocks and my March Madness bracket. It was like I invested in these things and then they promptly just like shit the bed. Like you know, and I just do like a little bit of money here and there. But it's laughable how bad I am at this.
Yeah. It's like, I'll put some money in Purdue. Thanks a lot, Ohio State Buckeyes. That's the only sports references I know for now.
Dale, because super topical.
I didn't get it at all.
They murdered my bracket right away. Like I picked basically on the seeding, and those were just two higher seeded teams that were the victims of upset in the March Madness basketball NCAA tournament. I imagine there's a lot of our listeners who don't follow college basketball either.
I don't. It's like I'm watching an episode of The League right now. I have no idea what's going on.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's half the reason we started a fantasy hockey league was because we're like, these guys have so much fun and it's hilarious. And I want a reason to make fun of my friends. So let's just like pick guys off of a sport and then trash talk each other, except for I lose so much, it's not worth it. Yeah,
it's not that funny when you're the butt of the joke all the time and you're just like really bad, which is the position I found myself in. Like, so yeah, we should start a fantasy investing league. Only instead of fantasy, it's real money. I basically like, I feel like I'm about to describe a hedge fund, but we get all our friends to give us money and then we pick stocks and invest in those stocks on behalf of our friends. And then we see who does the best at the end of the year and they get a prize.
Yeah, that's a hedge fund.
Yeah. Okay. And, thank you. That's what I thought.
As long as we don't antagonize nerds and then get the entire internet to bet against us, like the hedge fund.
Speaking about, Jeff, go ahead and say your thing before I make another great segue.
Oh, I was going to say, I think that with hedge funds, you are meant to be successful as well. I don't know if that,
that's
picking bad stock. It's not good for hedge funds.
Yeah.
Makes for a great story though. Hey, speaking of picking bad stock, I don't know. Fucking don't invest in Cinnamon Toast Crunch these days. This is another saga. I think if you went on the internet at all, this week you were either greeted with memes of a giant fucking boat, or regaled by the tale of a man who found a tail. That's clever. Totally unintentional. A man who found shrimp tails in his box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So comedian,
we should talk about this in 2 tiers.
Yeah. Whoa, okay. There's so much to this. And okay, this story is fucking perfect because it's just like it was the entire life cycle of an internet thing going viral in like, what was the news cycle on this? Like 48 hours. It was like this guy found shrimp tails, and they're obviously fucking shrimp tails. Like there's nothing else that these could be.
Yeah,
they're shrimp tails.
Unless you're Cinnamon Toast Crunch and you claim they are
congealed sugar
of sugar and cinnamon that just look like numerous shrimp tails.
No, they were fucking shrimp tails, and like there was this genre of internet humor where I think sometimes people will like pretend to find shit in products, like, oh, there's this like gun in my box of Shreddies. How the fuck did that get here? And you post pictures of it, and then the company is usually forced to respond. And then you just dunk on them for the inanity of their response. But this, like, I feel like this was legit. He was like, no, this isn't a bit. Like, I actually found shrimp tails in my box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Post a picture. They're clearly shrimp tails. General Mills is like, wait, is it General Mills?
I don't think they're going to sue us if it's not.
Okay, I mean,
yeah, I think it is General Mills.
Unknown big cereal. Just say big cereal when you don't know who specifically did it.
Mills that are general. Yeah. They basically like told they said it was fucking sugar at first, and then like I think they were just like straight up in denial, and then there was this whole fucking oh yeah, Kate just reminded me of the best fucking thing in this whole story is that the guy who's telling this story is married to fucking Topanga from Boy Meets World, which is like
first major crush.
Yeah.
Mine
was Winnie Cooper from The Wonder Years.
Yeah, that's true.
But Topanga was a good one, a gooder as well. And he's married to her, and he gets famous for the Cinnamon Toast Crunch thing. And fucking so General Mills is like telling him that he's objectively wrong, or like trying to make up some weird story for this whole thing. And he's going down this rabbit hole, tweeting about all his exchanges with General Mills and how completely full of shit. And they're asking him to like send the shrimp tails in as proof to them. Before
they wanted him to send in the whole box. He's like, no, because then you'll just make this box disappear. I know what you guys are like. Speaking of conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, like if you're a company and this happens, like just fucking send someone a gift card and tell them to like delete their tweets or something. Like tell them to shut the fuck up. Do not deny anything. And then so what? We're like 2 days into this, and like now like major news outlets are starting to report on this whole Cinnamon Toast Crunch debacle because we're in fucking week 53 of fucking lockdown, and we're all bored out of our goddamn minds, and we just need something to cling on to, whether that be a big ass boat or a little box of cereal. we need to get behind something. And then all of a sudden, women.
Wait. I want to stop you before we get to tier 2, because just like why people are like, well, how did you get shrimp tails in the cereal? Someone in the comments was like, well, actually, this looks like what happened was a rat nested in the dry ingredients at the factory that makes the cereal. So what they think happened was a rat who had eaten the shrimp, dug the tails into its like little nest or whatever it made in like, say, a box of flour. And then that's where the shrimp tails came from. And then on the flakes that were also in the same bag as the shrimp tails were little black things encrusted onto the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and they're like, that's rat poop. So that's how they came up with the whole thing. Yeah, and then there was also a piece of string to kind of further prove, I guess, the conspiracy of the rat nest thing.
Well,
So
then what are people freaking out about? It's totally explainable. God.
Sorry, Derek. So now that all happens, and then everybody's like, oh, that's gross, whatever. And then we move on to phase 2 of the story, which is the basic conclusion of anybody who gets any notoriety on the internet. Derek, do you want to take this back up since you walked us through the whole first part?
I will. I'm just kind of walking through my brain right now how much breakfast cereal I've eaten in my lifetime and how much rat shit was potentially in that breakfast cereal.
Oh, a lot. You've eaten a lot of rat shit for
sure.
Derek.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. It's like the average person swallows however many spiders in their sleep. It's like the average person also eats like 12 pounds of rat shit in their lifetime.
Yeah, definitely. It's so everywhere. Next time someone's like, eat shit, you could be like, well, I had cereal this morning. So the joke's on you. I already ate rat shit.
Yeah. Fucker. Preemptive strike. So here's the thing about the internet and virality. It's like a lot of people have shitty again unintentionally shitty checkered pasts, and any amount of notoriety, if your name starts getting seen like globally and people recognize you, and they're going to get reminded that like, oh yeah, this person is a bag of shit.
Yeah.
Or shrimp tails.
I was trying to let that one go by.
I know you were. And what happened was Jensen, what's his name? Fucking Jensen
Karp.
Jensen Karp, after going viral over the cereal thing. And Dale, can you do a quick spot check for me and tell me if this guy is still on Twitter right now?
All right, good sir, because you aren't on Twitter anymore.
I am not.
Hilarious.
And if he has said anything,
let me see.
But what ended up happening is that news broke that basically a bunch of women started god damn it.
This guy's a podcast. Let's stop talking about him.
He has a podcast?
Yeah, it's Talk Ain't Cheap, a podcast about Cameo, which what the fuck? Isn't Cameo like a thing that's not around anymore?
No, Cameo's
still around.
What is it? It's an app, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like do you not know this? You pay like D-list celebrities. Like if you ever wanted to get like fucking like Mario Lopez to wish you a happy birthday.
That's Cameo.
You would, it's amazing. It is actually like the single best product of the internet.
Okay, let's stop talking about something that's not monetarily increasing our worth.
Well, now I kind of want to keep talking. I'm trying to find a fucking.
Okay, I got Jensen Karp's last tweet is March 24th. No real update, and I'm not posting about this bullshit all day again. Waiting for the envelope I agreed on from General Mills to send them back pieces and some of the shrimp tail. Will leave home for DNA testing at noon. They grow up so fast.
Yeah. So March 25th, which is the day after Jensen Karp sends that tweet, suddenly there are news reports that, I guess March 24th as well, Melissa Stetton, who is a writer and also a podcast host, which, hey, everyone,
is a podcast.
Go to your LinkedIn right now and add podcast host to it, because you are one. Even if you just like have a conversation with another human being, you are now a podcast host. Congratulations. Melissa Stetton sent a tweet saying, what you may not know about the man behind the viral posts. He's a manipulative, gaslighting, narcissistic ex-boyfriend who once told me he was surprised I hadn't killed myself because my life was so worthless. That's a banger.
That's something you're not supposed to say to the women you love.
And that you should absolutely not say that. And then Stephanie Mickes, who is I gotta assume also a podcast host, said Ha ha ha. My quickly deleted subtweet yesterday said, "Oh no, I can't follow the latest viral saga because I was blocked in 2014 because I was not gracious enough after a surprise threesome, but not before I was told to be careful or I would never work in this town again." And then a lot more women came out. Someone said, "This is the most abusive person I've ever been with," and I'm crying as I type this. So basically, this Jensen Karp fella is a real piece of shit. And the internet quickly turned from lauding him as the hero of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shrimp Tail saga to the villain of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shrimp Tail saga. And it turns out Cinnamon Toast Crunch was the hero all
along.
Happy ending.
I just want once in my life for someone to tell me I'll never work in this town again. I feel like that's when you reached a certain level of success, because now it's like everybody's like, do your work or I'll fire you. I never get like I will also talk to other people who employ people and they won't hire you. And then if anybody ever says you won't work in this town again to you, you have like the perfect excuse to underachieve the rest of your life, because you could just be like, well, this is obviously because that one other person said I would never work in this town again. It is not because my resume is lackluster or my work ethics are terrible.
Right. Yeah. My dream would actually be to one day say to somebody, "You'll never work in this town again."
Yeah, like to have enough power to do that.
Yeah.
Dude,
or even just an empty threat.
Yeah.
Like, they obviously will still work in this town after, but I just want to be able to say that and have someone think, even for half a second, I wonder if I'll work in this town again.
Yeah. I wonder if Derek's taking a phone call from someone who is telling him was that your boss telling you you'll never work in this town again?
Yeah, it was the weirdest timing. They were like, "Hey, you're fucking fired and you'll never work in this town again."
Was he watching this live stream? Is that why?
Like, I'm watching the live stream, dickhead. You're done.
Oh, you want to hear that? And I was like, "No, it's Dale wants to hear that. Dale wants to be told."
He's like, "Fuck that. I'm not talking to welder employers to get him to never work again." One thing about this Jensen Karp thing, I love how people are all immediately being like, "Oh, there you go again, talking about anybody who gets success, taking him down just when he rises up." And you're like, no, the moral of the story is not if a person gets to a spot, everybody glomps on and tries to ruin it. The moral of the story is you never get away with being a shitty person in the internet era.
Like if you know that you have been and Kate again just raised a good point in the comments, in that, like, if you know you have been this shitty to people and you have this pattern of abuse, maybe don't go out of your way to become to go viral on the internet. Yeah. But Kate's point was that he probably doesn't even he doesn't realize, like, people who are abusers or narcissists like this, they usually lack the wherewithal to say, "Hey, I've done something wrong in hurting another human being."
There's no shitty people out there that are walking around being like, "I'm a shitty person." They don't realize they're shitty people.
Yeah, they're like, before I do any more shitty behavior, I should probably keep track of all the shitty stuff I've done in the past to not make myself a lightning rod to highlight everything. This is probably my favorite thing about the internet is milkshake ducking, because someone I guess the biggest, most recent example of this was that guy who got hired on SNL, and everyone's like, "No, this guy's a piece of shit racist." And then he lost his job immediately. And it's like, on one hand, you're like, well, it sucks that he lost his job. But on the other hand, it's like, yeah, don't be an asshole in the past because it'll catch up to you. It's like, maybe this was the karma we were waiting for all along, was the internet.
Well, but we're also going to flip that, because we're about to talk about this fucking Teen Vogue editor who lost her job. And I think there is a, and this obviously, like, I don't think that this guy has like made amends and fucking like move past and like apologize to those people or like made any attempt to become a better person. But it's like, okay, we as human beings, we're all fallible. We have all done shitty things in our lifetime. We all kind of have like a dark side to us.
Not
me.
that was perfect. So like we all have like, I know personally that there's shit in my life that I never ever want to fucking see on the internet or see people talking about or get called out for publicly.
Yeah, but Derek, this isn't telling people to kill themselves because their life is garbage bad.
No. Well, no. I mean, I might have said some shit along those lines in like the heat of battle. Not that bad, but like, you know, and not like
my point is everybody's done like shit, but we haven't done like Jensen Karp shit or like you know what I mean? Like we all have done bad in the past, but I just also want to point out that what this guy did was a little bit darker than the bad stuff that everybody else has in their past.
Well, and it was also a pattern, right? Like it wasn't like a one-off, like, oh, he got really mad and said something really shitty one time. It was all these women coming out saying, yo, like this has happened and he treated me this way. So I think if that's like, if we're going to say like, for me, it's the difference between saying like a behavior was shitty, like you did something shitty one time, or you're just a generally shitty person. But I also don't know that like any of us as individuals or even collectively as the internet has the ability to make that decision. And we've gotten to a point now where like social media is the fucking arbiter of justice and like the barometer of morality when it comes to like determining whether a person deserves to be forgiven and even then, like, I don't think the internet ever decides like, oh, it's okay, this person has made amends. As in the case of this Teen Vogue editor who fucking Jamie. This Teen Vogue editor, let me pull up the story here. Dale, I don't know if you have the details and if you want to
no, well, Derek just said fucking Jamie because in the comments he said cancel Outrage Factory is trending on Twitter right now. Crazy. Which is pretty funny. It's a good talk. I kind of like having the comments open because people can dunk on us. But on the other hand, it's kind of like annoying because people can dunk on us. I will pull up the story. Yes. When she was 16. Oh, I read about it. When she was 16, or was she? The ones I read was when she was in college, and what had happened was the TA of her course gave her a bad mark, and then she was like, "I hate all Asians." Well, she was saying, "I hate all Asians." She's like, "Done in by Asians again" or something. I'll look it up so I could say it specifically.
I'm looking it up right now. So her name was Alexi McCammond. She was named editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue. She was a politics reporter at Axios, specifically writing on issues relating to race, inequality, and presidential affairs. She was hired as editor at Teen Vogue, and then the right wing jumped all over her hiring and started. Why does the
right wing care about Teen Vogue so much?
Because they're Teen Vogue is like a big voice in leftist internet circles lately. Like they have a lot of like I think they're definitely like promoting wokeness and not like the derogatory term of wokeness, but like they're bringing more like awareness. this hiring show, like they were bringing more awareness to this and noted dipshit Jack Posobiec, who I think ran in like a lot of the QAnon circles. Dale, we talked about him on previous episodes. He was like a central figure in that.
You think I remember a guy like Jack Posobiec?
That New York play in Central Park or something where that woman was yelling. Oh, the Shakespeare play where they like beheaded Donald Trump or something. And they were, anyway.
Yeah, this is like a year ago and she was all upset.
Dale barely pays attention during these.
So anyway, this woman, as a 16-year-old girl, had tweeted outdone by Asians. What was it? Googling how to not wake up with swollen Asian eyes, and thanks a lot, stupid Asian TA. You're great. Were three of the tweets that she had sent as a 16-year-old girl back literally a decade ago. So she sends these tweets a decade ago. She spends the next decade becoming more culturally sensitive, writing issues about race, politics, becoming like this wasn't behavior that continued. Like, she wasn't still tweeting about how shitty Asians were. She had, by all objective measures, like, grown out of that shit as people. Like, I look back at, I can remember some of the shit I said as like a 15 or 16 or maybe even a fucking like 20, 25-year-old. And it was definitely ignorant. And it was definitely shitty. And then you grow as a human being, and people have to be afforded the space to do that. But the internet, like, again, like the right, well, Dale's making a face.
But at the same time,
Dale's making a face.
When I was 16, I wasn't saying racist stuff on the internet.
Yeah,
like,
the only reason
there was no internet for you to say anything.
That's
on.
the thing.
Even like to my friends and stuff, I wasn't like saying, "Oh, I got done in by these Asians again. What's gonna happen?" And I wouldn't have said stuff like that when I was 16 because I knew it was wrong. Like, there's stuff like I would have made like insensitive jokes, but I would have never been like, "Oh, I didn't get this because of that Asian TA, and it's their fault. It's not my fault."
You know what? I think I'm more on Derek's side on this one. I think
just diving you guys' selves the same racist stuff when you're 16 or whatever.
Yeah, probably. Like, my first tweet when Twitter came out wasn't racist, but it was about drinking my own piss.
That's not racist.
No, but there was.
I'm not saying I didn't say dumb shit. What I'm saying was I didn't say specifically racist stuff. Like,
I knew Dale in college. He definitely said dumb shit.
Oh yeah. My whole personality was being offensive for a while, but that was like if we're talking about dead baby jokes and shit like that. Yeah, I said a lot of that when I was that young. Like, I was Jesselneck before Jesselneck was a thing.
Yeah, but Jesselneck says racist stuff, I think, sometimes. He just says it in the veneer of like he does it. I'm not going to say Jesselnick's a racist or anything, but I will say that, like, if you say stuff, whatever, fucking regardless of the point, if a 16-year-old says something racist, I'm not going to say it's excusable and it should be allowed. And we saw this again with that, Dale, you were talking about this the other day, that hockey player who fucking basically, like, they were drafted into the NHL, and then it came to light that, like, they didn't just like say racist shit. They basically like
the ones who bullied the autistic kid,
basically like abused a black autistic kid when they were teenagers, and ended up losing his job in the NHL as a result of it. So it's like, do we want to? How much? Yeah, like how much power do we want to give the internet to go back and look at shit that people did when they were teenagers and say you should no longer be allowed to be employed or have a relationship or fucking do any of that shit now as an adult?
Yeah, I think one of the differences. Sorry, I think one of the differences with that hockey player was the mom of the kid that was bullied and stuff said that the behavior was still going on after the guy had said it stopped. Like, he was like, "Oh, when I was 14, I did all this bad shit, but I apologized and I told everybody who drafted me this happened." But then the mom was like, "Yeah, he apologized, but then he kept doing it for years after that." Mm. Sorry, Jeff.
I think another example too is what happened with James Gunn, is that he had a bunch of Twitter posts when he was younger that were not very appropriate.
Politically correct.
Politically correct. He did apologize for them. And some people accepted it and some people didn't. But I think I agree with what Derek was saying, where you have to allow people to make up for their mistakes and to grow. You can't just be like, oh, okay, I was a shitty teenager. If you're still a shitty person now, that's a different story. But if you've grown from it, like obviously this woman has done a lot of really good work up until getting the position. And to be, I just think it sucks that there is this written record now, this Twitter that, when I was a kid, I said stupid shit. I didn't say racist shit, but I said stupid shit that I would not want to have a written record of. But now that exists. That's Twitter, and people could just go back in history and be like, hey, you said the stupid shit. You don't get a job now. Yeah. And I don't think that's really fair.
Yeah, there should definitely be like some sort of road to redemption where this girl, she clearly took it. And when the people hired her at Teen Vogue, they're like, yeah, we know what she said in the past. We saw these tweets. She was very forthcoming about it. She told us, and we had decided that that was in her past, and this was no longer something that would come up. But then at the same time, you're like, well, if you knew about this when you hired her, why would you just fold and fire her right away?
Well, that's the most frustrating thing, is that she'd apologized for these tweets before. Like she had, like other people had called her out for them, and she had been like super forthcoming and fucking really, like genuinely like taken responsibility for it, like not deflected and not dismissed. And like our article I was reading said that she has apologized for these tweets multiple times over her career, and she fucking left them up. She didn't go and like delete them and try to like whitewash them. Like she didn't erase them, because she felt it was important that she not try to hide that, even if she was saying like idiot shit, maybe keep it as a record of like, yeah, a kid can say idiot shit and they can grow into someone who's socially aware and won't say things like that anymore, and actually like actively fights racism. So I think it is fucking ridiculous that Teen Vogue did back down. Or the statement she made said that was basically the attention that these tweets were getting was detracting from the work that she was focused on doing, and that she wanted to do a Teen Vogue, and that she felt it was better if she stepped down, which could just be like PR speak for Teen Vogue didn't give me an option. But yeah, that's kind of, we've created a culture where it is okay for a mob of people to go digging into someone's past and find shit that paints them in and we've all fucking done this shit. We have all said things that we would not want broadcast, or said or done things that we would not want broadcast on the internet. And we've said it's now okay for people to go dig through that shit, find the worst things or the things that paint us in the least flattering light, and then take that to our employers or our partners or our friends, and like at some point we gotta say that is not okay, or we all just gotta like really censor the fuck out of ourselves and like go through your Twitter history right now, delete everything that you've ever said that could be like remotely offensive to anyone, and don't just fucking hope that they don't come for you someday.
I think she messed up when she kept the tweets, because she said she was like, oh, I kept these so people would know that I know about them. But on one hand, you're like, yeah, it's good to not try to like hide the evidence or get rid of them. But on the other hand, there's still a thing that people can see. And if they don't know all the history, then they'll see. It's like kind of like maybe like giving themselves backup for their own shitty thoughts. So it's like if she deletes them, then they're gone. And then anybody who knew about them from back then would probably also know about the apologies she made. But if she leaves them up, then like other races can see it and be like, see, look, the Teen Vogue person is also racist, so my racism is okay. And then like not like, because nobody's gonna go through and be like, oh, a couple of years later she apologized for this and that. Like nobody's gonna do the timeline fucking research through the whole thing.
Nothing really dies on the internet, though. Even if she would have deleted them, someone was going to have it.
Well, I was going to say, then you get, if she deletes it, like you're fucked either way. If she deletes it, someone pops up in her mentions with a screenshot being like, oh, I thought you could delete this. Hey, good thing I kept receipts. Because we're all fucking morons who just want to shout people down on the internet instead of being good, decent people ourselves.
Yeah, but the people who are going to put her on blast aren't necessarily smart enough to find the deleted tweets. Sorry.
I've actually kept recorded audio of Dale when we were in music trivia back in the day. I have every single thing he ever said.
Oh man, send that to me and I'll do it as a stand-up comedian set. I bet it was hilarious. It was probably just really shitty puns about all the band names that were mentioned.
Yeah. Well, and most of it was probably very slurred because we would have been very drunk at the time.
Yes, we were in our 20s and it was at a pub on college campus and
Thompson Rivers University.
Yeah.
True.
Actually, no, University College of Caribou back then.
Yeah, there you
UCC.
You know me.
Do we have is there a moral of the story on this one?
The moral of the story is that real mature people would accept what you've done in the past and that you've apologized for it. But most of the people on the internet aren't mature. So delete the shit that's bad. And so people don't find it and take it out of context. I also think that there should be an age, just like if you do actual crime in the real world before you're 18, it doesn't go on your permanent record unless it's like you're tried as an adult because you murdered someone. So maybe when you're like 16 and then you turn like 19 or 18, you just fucking delete every tweet you had that you don't like or anything. But like,
you
get
juvenile internet is like that's the internet you can go to and you say all this idiot shit. I would say we don't have fully formed brains until we're like 24 or 25 years old. So until you're 24 or 25, you go on the juvenile internet where you can get all the racism and sexism out. And then once you turn 24, that record is completely deleted and purged from public view. And then you get to be your new better self.
Oh,
but you're still immature, right?
Yeah. It could be like an option.
But like
when you hit your 24th birthday, a little pop-up comes up on Twitter. And it's like, you can nuke all of your past up until now. Would you like to do so? Yes or no?
Yeah. I think most people would choose. Like, who the fuck? If you wouldn't choose yes on that, you're a fucking square and you were a nerd in school and nobody liked you. Like, the end.
I would choose yes.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have Twitter before the age of 24.
Yeah. I think I would choose yes, not because I said anything super bad, but because as awkward as I am now, it was only worse back then. So I would have just said dumb stuff that wasn't particularly un-PC. It was just dumb on a different level.
I definitely said some un-PC shit a lot.
I've said this many times in the past. I'm going to say it again. I am glad the internet wasn't what it is now when I was a kid.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if people could see every ICQ message you ever sent?
Oh God. Although I wish I kind of had those messages. That'd be kind of nostalgic.
Oh yeah. It'd be awesome to have until you read them all. It would be like finding a book of poetry from when you were 16. You'd be like, oh, look at my old poems. And you read one and you're like, yeah, that's why girls didn't talk to me. That makes sense.
By the way, I have a book of our old poetry so I'll have to share that with you sometime.
Oh my God, we should definitely read those on this podcast at some point.
We will do an awkward teenage poetry reading.
Read them out. Have you ever been to the Teenage Angst nights?
I really wanted to go to that. I saw that they were back in the day when they were a thing. I think
they're coming back. They're doing another show, virtual show coming up in not too long.
Okay, Dale, we might have to show up and do a duet at one of those.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Some of the old poems we used to write to impress girls. Yeah. And then all the girls now will just be so impressed because of how artistic and intelligent we are.
Ladies, Dale and I used to write poetry for girls.
Yes, we did.
Tennille's in the comments right now. I know she has some for sure.
Luckily, you both already have the ladies.
Yeah.
We do. I didn't have to write a single poem to get this one.
Me neither. I'm starting to see a trend.
Yeah, maybe there's a correlation there. What else? Jeff, what's I know we're coming up on an hour here. What personally made you angry over the past week? Is there anything you'd like to discuss?
There was hold on, I'm gonna bring up Dale thing that he sent me because there was something. Oh yes, that was what it was. David Dobrik.
All right.
David Dobrik made
Old
me
Davy
angry.
Dobrik.
Davy Dobie.
I've never been a fan of David Dobrik to begin with. I think his humor and his YouTube channel is not my demographic. But yeah, just such a shithead for covering for his friend that might have raped somebody.
So, yeah, that's awfully bad.
What happened here? Can someone break this down? Because I don't really know who
so David Dobrik had this group of friends called the Vlog Squad, and they used to do like pranks and videos. And then a couple years, I don't know if it was a couple years ago, a bunch of years ago, they
like 2008, I think it was, something like that.
They were recording a video of. It's weird because some of the stories are like, oh yeah, they like recorded this video of sex, and you're like, wait, what? But they got alcohol and they gave it to a girl who was underage at the time, and then supposedly one of the Vlog Squad, who's no longer part of this group of friends or whatever, by the girl's account, had raped her after the video thing. And then Dave Dobrik was like, I don't know anything about this. And then he released a video saying how much he likes consent and how he would never do anything about this, like anything like this, and how that person it shouldn't affect them because he's not part of the team anymore. He hasn't been for years. And then every single one of their advertisers just fucking dropped him like a hot banana.
Yeah. Well, like that was his response to be like, oh, I wasn't involved, like just to kind of distance himself rather than okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said that he didn't want to believe that his friend would do something like that. But just didn't believe the women that came forward. It was only one woman that said she was raped during the thing, but there were multiple women at this party that was like, yeah, like there was some sketchy shit going on for sure. And they were forcing alcohol on these girls, and they were very obviously bringing these girls up to try to have sex with them in this party, and then recorded. Like the other thing too is they recorded this entire thing and made a giant joke out of it. That they were just going to feed these
like non-consent. Like, did the women know that they were being recorded? Because that could also be a crime in and of itself.
Yeah,
right?
I think
they knew they were being recorded. Yeah.
But it was like they were giving them alcohol to the point where they could no longer give consent to anything. So it was kind of like they were just like young shitheads recording like a party and all this stuff and thinking it was funny. And then afterwards, all this shit happened. And he was
they didn't know who the Vlog Squad was. They didn't know who, like, I think they might have known who David Dobrik was, but they didn't know that this was going to be this giant YouTube video or this giant thing. They thought it was just some people filming a party type idea.
Yeah, like they probably just thought it wasn't going to go on YouTube and be like a video thing where people were going to like make money at their extent, like exploitation type of deal.
Yeah.
And I think up until this point, Dave Dobrik was like the 7th highest earning YouTube star or something.
Oh, he's ridiculous. one of the largest for sure.
Yeah.
Like if maybe next to that, what's that kid that does the unboxing videos? Like number 2 to him.
I don't know.
Ryan's Toys or whatever.
Yeah, Ryan's World.
Oh, fucking kid.
Yeah, I thought this was the guy who like bought people Lamborghinis and stuff, but I think that's a different guy, right?
There's a bunch of that. Well,
that was Mr. Beast.
Oh, Mr. Beast does that too.
Yeah,
but I think David Dobrik does that kind of shit too.
Who the fuck are these people? Like, why?
They're just
I'm
people
just gonna sound like the oldest fucking guy ever. So congrats, Jeff. I guess you're not the oldest guy on the podcast anymore.
Oh yeah.
But, like, why? Why do we give? I'm gonna argue that this is maybe a natural byproduct of like giving fucking 18 and 19-year-olds the opportunity to make millions of dollars by being shitty on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like
I think David Dobrik is one of those. He's kind of one of the OG YouTubers too. So I think that he's grown with the platform to make him who he is. So like, I don't think he's necessarily talented. I think he was kind of like right place, right time. Just happened to create a YouTube channel and got super big. I think PewDiePie is kind of the same thing. Yeah, it's just like, I think he's just been around for so friggin' long that he's got an audience.
You can't help but make money.
Yeah. Speaking of getting canceled and coming back, bringing up PewDiePie, like he was like fucking about as canceled as you could get on the internet because of all his like his Nazi stuff.
He said some Nazi shit, didn't he?
He dressed up as a Nazi as a joke, and then he got completely canceled and then kind of just rebuilt it because he's like, I am a Twitch streamer and video gamers don't care about Nazi jokes. So he kind of just grew back up. And that's like another thing. It's like you could get canceled, but you can always come back if people are willing to watch your video.
Well, yeah. That's the flip side of cancel culture, right? Is that like where everyone's always looking for the next person to be fucking angry at. So if you just go and like lie low for like, at this point, the outrage cycle is probably down to like 3 or 4 months, like depending on the nature of the infraction. Like I don't think that fucking Jensen Karp is going to be waving his little shrimpy dick around Twitter anytime soon. But like, give it a fucking year and just kind of like slide back in there. And I don't think people are going to remember exactly what they were mad at you for.
Well, and I think that's what is going to end up happening with David Dobrik. I think, he's going to lose some money for sure. He's going to lose some sponsorship, but the dude's fucking rich already. Like, why does he care? Oh my God, I'm not going to make the $15 million I made last week. Guess I'll just hunker down and not do anything for a little while and then pop my head back out when people forget about it, and I'll be good.
I think too, I was thinking about this today, like this whole thing about like influencers and stuff. And I think one of the reasons like everybody's like, how did these people get so rich? Like what's going on? And I think one of the reasons is like these companies are turning to influencers so they could like sponsor them and stuff, as opposed to like when we were growing up, it was all professional athletes. But then you like go through the athletes agent and you have to have this like lengthy, super big contract. And you're kind of like, if you make a deal, you're kind of stuck to give them to them. But like with this David Dobrik thing, you could see all these people who are kind of sponsoring him as an influencer. As soon as anything bad happens, they could just like fucking pull out because they don't have like these, like the same contracts or like guaranteed money thing. And if you go outside of David Dobrik and even look at all the like Instagram models and stuff where it's like young kids, it's like, is that like, if you want to get really deep, you could be like, is this modern day child labor, like exploitation of people who are maybe younger and don't really know what's going on? It's like, because you like, these people are getting sponsored by huge companies. Like, I don't know specific ones, but like they'll just give them stuff and be like, hey, drop our name and we'll give you this like new pair of shoes or this jacket or something. And then they end up getting so much money off the influence culture from these kids.
If anyone wants to offer me money to exploit my 7-year-old son, Noah, have fucking at it. Like, I will, I would like to make him, it's fucking crazy. Like talking to a 7-year-old kid who's like obsessed, like all Noah wants to be when he grows up is a YouTuber. Like that's it. Like he just wants a YouTube channel. He wants to be a YouTube influencer. And I think that's probably the norm with a lot of kids these days. And it's just fucked up that like, not only is this like a viable career option, but now I'm like, yeah, Noah, like be a YouTuber. Like that's gotta be easier to achieve than like being a professional athlete. And it requires less education than being a doctor. And you can make a fuck ton of money doing it.
What the nice thing too is if he tries it and doesn't do well, it's not that big a deal. He just created a YouTube channel that nobody watches. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's
we already
right?
have
and then
one.
It's on to
Why
like
not
a
have two?
real career. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to our YouTube channel. If you're not listening to this on audio and you want to see our beautiful faces, go to YouTube.
Head on over to YouTube.
Factory.
Search
And
Outrage Factory.
maybe Outrage Factory Kids, because the way this is sounding, maybe we put all our eggs in the wrong basket and should have aimed at a easier to impress audience.
Kid Factory. No, he's not that easy to impress. He always tells me I swear
Kid Factory
is
a horrible name.
Kid Factory.
Outrage Factory Kids.
We'll work on rebranding that one.
Is it still hip to say Z after stuff instead of an S?
Yeah, it never goes out of style.
Kids. Love it. All right. Dale, anything else you wanted to touch on this app?
There's a bunch of stuff still on the list, but are you guys done talking? Or there's one thing I want to bring up. It's not necessarily because of how offensive it is or how much people on the internet are kind of talking about it. It's just like the absolute absurdity of it. It's just like one of those things I saw on the internet that made me smile for all the wrong reasons. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
Okay.
Because I saw it on the list and I'm like, there's no way Dale's not going to talk about it.
I'll read you the headline from the story. Man in China claiming to be a Taoist master offering breast implants with mind control and witchcraft has authorities worried.
So I actually read the story. Thank you very much, Dale.
Hey, you're welcome. Wasn't it entertaining?
It was very entertaining. So it's that he believes that he has mind powers that will allow him to increase the breast size of women
and make them smarter.
And make them smarter. He could blow in people's ears and make them smarter.
He's blowing air into their head. The exact quote.
Yeah. And he was able to make 27 women's breasts larger in one session. Yeah.
Simultaneously.
Just by I gotta assume doing this and making honking noises.
No, apparently he doesn't touch them at all. Because that was my first thought. I'm
that
like,
would
this
be
guy's like a
disrespectful,
pervert.
guys. There's a video clip. I never watched the video. Oh man. I know what I'm doing after this podcast because I'm watching probably the weirdest porn I'd have watched in a while. A guy blowing on women to make their breasts increase.
So are people paying him money to do this?
I believe so. It's part of his practice, his Taoist practice. So I think that it is a class that he offers. I don't know if he's teaching other people to increase the breast size of women or if it's just him doing it.
I'd imagine that's something you don't want to be like, I could teach you, because then you won't have any return.
Gotta get that monopoly.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get people to come to you to get their breasts blown on and make them bigger. Like one girl said her breast circumference was 87 centimeters and then he blew on them and then they've turned to 91 centimeters.
I just found another headline for this article, and it says Taoist master doing boob job from a distance suspected of fraud. Not it's like we don't know for sure. There might be some truth to it.
Well, and all the women who have said that their breasts got larger are all people who are his followers or part of his group. And
like, yeah, they're like a promotional staff.
Yeah.
It's basically like fucking oh my god, like a pyramid scheme. Like those women are all going to recruit like 5 of their friends to get the mind control boob jobs, and then they get a cut as well.
Yeah, that's probably exactly. That sounds a lot less interesting. Yeah, so basically, there's no way this is real, but it's just funny that an old guy is like, I can blow on your boobs and make them bigger, or blow in your head and make you smarter. I mean, if you're walking down the street and this guy tells you if he blows in your ear, you're going to be smarter, would you let him try just in case it works? Or would you just be like, no?
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
He could spit earworm into your
Oh,
head.
Jeff.
Okay.
He could do the scene from Star Trek 2 where they stick that fucking worm in the guy's ear and it eats his brain. I was just saying, like, I thought Jeff was gonna be like, he could spit in your ear, and I was like, that's horrible. But he just
that's
so much
alone is bad enough.
I'm just picturing this guy being like, I can blow in your ear and make you smarter. And then you being like, okay, blow in my ear and make me smarter. Then he blows in your ear and you're like, that didn't do anything. You're a fraud. And be like, haha, you're smarter now, aren't
you? Nice. It's a good loophole. I would be the best if it was like, if he did that and you just became the smartest person in the world. And then you're like at a superhero meeting and they're like, how'd you get your powers? And you're like, well, it's a funny story. This old Taoist master blew in my ear. And then
that sounds like it could be a DC origin story.
Holy shit. This guy charges $2,300 US per centimeter added to his clients. It says height. I don't know if that's also including boob circumference, but $2,300 per centimeter.
Per boob?
I gotta assume.
Oh, I'd imagine if he can make your boob grow, he can make your whole body grow as well. So he's probably doing like a little bit of both.
A centimeter isn't much. Like I'm thinking penis here, obviously. And I'm like, if I like with an extra set I
got $2,500 to grow my dick a centimeter.
Yeah, a centimeter though? Like I don't know if a centimeter would.
Well, I don't want to be greedy.
$2,000, like maybe an inch would be worth $2,000. I don't know about a centimeter.
An inch would work out probably to $5,000 because that's like 2.4 centimeters. So
if only there was some kind of doctor you can go to and pay them an amount of money in order to make your breasts larger. Unfortunately, there is not.
Yeah, it probably works out to significantly less than $2,300 per centimeter as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to save myself some money and just get a boob job.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Hey, gents, it's been a real fucking treat talking about internet shit with you this week. Jeff, thanks for joining us. If people want to learn more about you or your podcast or your miniatures or the shit that you do, where can they go to do that?
You can find The Fear of Science at Science Fears on Instagram, Facebook, and
As
Twitter.
Dale said 5 seconds into the podcast.
Plugged us at the beginning by accident.
Yeah.
If you want to follow my miniatures, this is not something I normally plug, but you can find me on Instagram, Jeff_Porter_creative. That's where I tend to post a lot of my miniature stuff.
He is creative. It's not just a clever name.
Just the truth.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us. I am Derek. I have been your co-host. You could not find me on the internet anymore because fuck Twitter and fuck all of you. Dale, what about you?
I just wanted to point out that we did a sort of side supplementary podcast.
All right,
called
we did do that.
Outrage Factory: Nerdage. Where me, Derek, my older brother Neil, and past guest Wesley David Scott discussed where we thought the DCEU should take their movies in the future. You can find that in the regular feed on our outragefactory.com for the audio, and then go to YouTube to find the video.
Why didn't you have me on that one? I could have talked about.
Yeah, I was
going to
say,
days.
Jeff, you would be a great candidate for those as well. We're gonna do more.
I saw the post about you not liking Snyder Cut, Jeff.
It's true. I did not like Snyder Cut.
No, it was actually this guy Marty Zylstra's idea, and he was like, "Hey, we should do this roundtable," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then it was just like whoever was involved there. So, and then it was kind of like someone brought us an idea, and I was like, "Well, we'll host it, and then we'll put it out on our feed."
Yeah, whatever, Dale.
Marty's kid was. Yeah, well, you had Derek on twice, so eat it. And then Marty couldn't make it, so but hopefully we'll get him for the next one.
Now I'm gonna have Derek on for a third time and not.
Hell yeah! Fear of the DC universe.
I don't know how often we're going to do it or how many more we're going to do. It's just something like we were like, oh, it'd be nice to not necessarily talk about what everybody's angry about online. It would be nice to just talk about one subject as for like an hour-long time and kind of see where we want our nerdery and just basically like flex our nerd biceps. So you can find that. You can follow us on Twitter at Outragefactpod. That's the Facebook group, Outrage Fact Pod. Send us a Gmail at outragefactpod if there's anything you feel like we missed talking about. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and you'd think how much we talk for over an hour. We'd be covering everything, but a lot of stuff does fall through the cracks.
It does.
Because we don't think it's interesting enough or we don't see an angle for apt dick jokes, so we move on to something else. Yeah, you can follow me personally at SuperDalebot. Instagram is Dalebot, but that's just pictures of leaves and stuff. And the blossoms that are coming out now. So
that's what you're blossom. Into. I'm excited to
blossom season.
Blossom season.
Blossom season.
If you like our podcast, please leave a rating or a review. If you really like the podcast, head on over to Patreon and throw us some money. And until next week.
Oh, wait. I wanted to plug the TikTok because I started a TikTok under my name. Sorry, Derek, for stepping all over.
Speaking of social media influencers, Dave's on TikTok now.
It's a good place to go because each episode we do, I'll put like a minute clip from 1 or 2 minute clips, and no, like 1 or 2 clips that are a minute long. Sorry, you can only make a minute long. But it's if you're trying to entice a friend or something, and you're like, hey, go watch this podcast I like. And they're like, this is over an hour long. I'm not doing that. It'd be like, well, here's a snippet with a dick joke in it. So you could get a taste of what you're in for. So it's like, I don't know if you want to show your mom and offend her.
I'm disappointed that your TikTok is not just Dale doing TikTok dances.
I mean, that's going to be part. He's looking at making the leap. The podcast clips were his in. Now he's going to start doing the viral dances.
He's going to get
once I get the followers, then I switch it up.
If you want to entice your adult friends to listen to this podcast, please send them over to TikTok where they can watch Dale's
foolproof plan.
And until next week,
stay angry.